Hello students, welcome to the channel of Dr. Gaurav Verma. In this video lecture, we will learn about Fourier sequence, important concept of book number theory. First of all, what is the definition of Fourier sequence? By a Fourier sequence of order n, we mean a finite sequence of reduced fractions that are lying between 0 to 1. So it is basically the reduced fractions which lie between 0 and 1 and having denominator less than equal to n. And each fraction must denominator less than equal to n, and it is denoted by fn, and it is always written in the ascending order. So how we will start? First of all, first Fourier sequence is basically the fractions. So I will start with the 0 by 1 and 1 by 1. This is the first Fourier sequence. So this is the f1, which denotes first Fourier sequence of fractions. If we have to find the another fractions, what we will do, we will add numerator and denominator. 0 plus 1 1, 1 plus 1 2. It lie between them, and always noted that denominator should be less than equal to n. So 2 is less than equal to 2, so it will be okay. If we take f3, if we add 0 plus 1, it will be 1 upon 3. Okay, next one will be also 1 by 2. 1 by 2 will be there also, 2 by 3, 1 by 1. So in this way, we can find the sequence of array sequence fractions. So this is F2, this is F3. If another F4, if we add this one, it will be 2 upon 5. We cannot take this one because here n will become more than 5. So as here n is a 4, we cannot take 2 by 5 as a fraction here. So taking while you are making the fractions, you must note two things. Fraction should lie between 0 and 1, and its denominator always less than equal to n. So in this way, we can make a Fourier sequence of reduced fractions between 0 and 1 in which each denominator is less than equal to n. So I think everybody has understood this concept. What is the Fourier sequence of reduced fractions? Now, this is the Fourier sequence of fractions. Now, what is a median? If we have a two fractions a upon b and c upon d, two rational fractions, then a plus c divided by b plus d is the called median of ab and cd. It means this is the fraction lying between a upon b and c upon d. Now we have to do very important results theorems related to this array sequence. If we have a two rational fractions, then their median lies between them. We have to show that the median is lie between them. How we will prove? Let us say there are two fractions a upon b is less than c upon d, then clearly this difference bc minus ad will be greater than equal to 0. If we take cross multiplication, now we know that between two fractions it is a median. Now I have to show that this median lie between them. First of all, I will take the difference of these two fractions. If we take difference, it become like this. On simplification, AB will cancel with the AB. BC minus AD is always 1. So this is greater than 0. So this inequality hold. This part is B greater than A upon B. You can also write like this. Now I will take the difference of CD minus A plus C upon B plus D. If you take the difference and solve it and simplify it, again you will get this is a positive term. So you will get this. So here from number one equation and from number two equation, we can see that this median lie between them. So very easy to understand. First theorem. Now theorem number two. Here it is given that if A upon B and A dash upon B dash are two consecutive terms in a Fourier sequence Fn, then the sum of their denominators is always greater than n. Okay, so we have given two Fourier fractions. We can find a median between them. How to find median? Adding numerator and denominators. A plus A dash over B plus B dash is the median between them. Since these are the consecutive in the Fourier sequence, so this median, this fraction cannot belong to that class of Fourier sequence. So there will be two cases. We know that a fraction will not contain Fourier sequence if it is greater than 1, or either sum of denominators is greater than n. If their sum of denominators is greater than n, then it will also follow it. So if we take this a upon b is less than equal to a dash b dash, we know that fractions are always less than equal to 1. It means a is less than equal to b, a dash is also less than equal to b dash. If we add both these equations, we will get a plus a dash is less than b plus b dash. So you can remove from here equality sign. You can remove here. So if we take down the denominator, this is less than 1. So this is always less than 1 because it is a median between two fractions. So this condition does not hold. So only condition will hold will be this. B plus B dash is greater than n. यहाँ पे in this theorem you have to learn that if there are two consecutive fractions, then the sum of their denominators is always greater than n in series sequence. Another theorem is if two consecutive terms of Fn cannot have same denominator. If there are two denominators, two consecutive terms, then they cannot have same denominator. Let us start. We have, let us suppose, two denominator consecutive terms Fn. Clearly, a will be less than a dash. I can write also that a is less than equal to a dash minus 1 if we minus subtract from right hand side. So a plus 1 less than equal to a dash. Now we will start a upon b can written be like a upon b minus 1. A upon b less than a upon b minus 1. A is less than a plus 1 and b minus b less than b. So I can write like this. So a plus 1 upon b is less than a dash b dash. So we have get a median between them, a upon b minus 1. Okay. Now since these are the connective terms in Fn, and so this term cannot belong to Fn. So there will be two conditions. Whenever a fraction does not belong to Ferris sequence, there will be always two conditions. Either that fraction is greater than 1 or the sum of or the sum or denominator should be greater than n. Then it will not consist that Ferris sequence. So either this is greater than 1 or its denominator is greater than n, because in a Ferris sequence always denominator is less than n and the fraction lie between 0 and 1. So either these two conditions will hold. If but a upon b is belonging to Ferris sequence, so b must less than equal to n. So we can say b minus 1 is less than n. So here from here we can say that 0 is less than a upon b, a upon b is less than a upon b minus 1. Since b minus 1 is less than b, so this is less than 1. So this is less than 1. Okay. So it means the condition 1 is not true that is given to us. This condition is not true. Okay. Hence, two consecutive terms of Fn cannot have the same denominator because we have started with the same denominator. So condition 1 is not true here because b minus 1 is always less than n. So this is over disavoid. Similarly, this is also disavoid here. So we have taken the same denominators, which is a contradiction. Theorem number 4. If we have a two consecutive fractions in a Ferris sequence Fn, if a upon b is left to a dash b dash, then we have to show that this a dash b minus ab dash difference of these terms is always equal to 1. Very easy to prove. We will use some mathematical induction here. So let us start with n is equal to 1. N is equal to 1. Ferris equals 1. It has a two fractions 0 by 1, 1 by 1. This is a upon b. This is a dash b dash. If we take this difference, it is always 1. Very simple to prove. Now in the induction, we suppose that this result is true up to n minus 1 step. Okay. Now we have to prove the result up to nth step. Let us say two fractions consecutive terms in Fn. So if these terms belongs to previous F class Fn minus 1, then a upon b and a dash b are consecutive terms, and by step number 2 this result is hold true. If these two terms belongs to previous sequence of fractions also. If these two terms does not belong to previous sequence of fractions, then either two conditions will be hold. Their denominator must be greater than n minus 1. So b will be greater than n minus 1. B dash always greater than n minus 1. From here we can say that b is equal to n and b dash is equal to n. Okay. But as these fractions belongs to Fn, So b must be less than equal to n and b dash must be less than equal to n. From these two conditions, we can say that either b is equal to n or and b dash is equal to n. So from here we can say that b is equal to b dash, which is contradiction as two consecutive terms of f and cannot be have same denominators as we discussed in the previous slide. So either one of them must belong to this thing. Okay, both, if both belongs then it will be okay. So if we take both does not belongs to this, then contradiction happens. So we will take the case either one of them a upon b or a dash upon b dash belongs to fn minus 1 sequence. Let us say a upon b belongs to this and this doesn't belongs to fn minus 1. So a dash b dash does not belongs to fn minus 1. It means that b dash is equal to n as discussed in the step number 1. Now lambda upon nu is any term belonging to n minus 1 sequence which follows a upon b. Since this follows a upon b and using the induction step up to n minus 1, we get this thing a lambda times b minus a nu is equal to 1. Now a dash b dash is always less than equal to lambda upon nu in the consecutive, since these are the two consecutive fractions. Okay, so this must be greater than lambda by nu is also greater than this one. So these are the consecutive fractions in the Fn. Now I can write 1 upon b nu as a lambda b minus a nu upon b nu because this is 1. Now I have divided denominator with the terms. I can write like this. So inserting a dash b dash between them. So I have two fractions. This is greater than equal to 1. This is also greater than equal to 1. I can write like this. So 1 over bu is greater than this step. So this inequality hold if either this one. So equality hold if either this one is equal to 1 or this one is equal to 1. If we take 1 over bu is greater than this thing. Okay. From here we can say that b dash is greater than b plus nu. This implies n is greater than b plus u as b dash is equal to n. So b plus nu is less than n and b plus nu is less than equal to n minus n 1. So these are the consecutive in fn minus 1. So b plus nu is greater than n minus 1, which is a contradiction to step number 3. So only this part will hold. So this result is true for nth step. By mathematical induction, we have proved this result. Another is the theorem number 5. If there are consecutive fractions in Fn, then this middle fraction must be equal to this thing, sum of their numerator and sum of their denominators. Since if these are two consecutive fractions, then we have the result as discussed in the previous theorem, a dash b minus ab dash is equal to 1. If these are the consecutive fractions, then again applying the result on this, product of this minus this is greater than equal to 1. Now we have a two equation in a dash and b dash and solve these equations for a dash and b dash by using the cross multiplication method. From solving these two equations, by solving first two members, only solving first two members, we get a dash b dash is equal to this, which is a median between them. That's proved. Now theorem number 6, if there are two consecutive fractions in any row, then among all the rational fractions between them, this is a unique fraction with the smallest denominator. If there are two consecutive fractions, then we have to show that it is the only unique fraction lying between them with the smallest denominator. Since these are the two consecutive fractions in the Ferri sequence row, then we have already proved this result. The difference of a dash b minus ab dash is equal to 1. Since these are the two consecutive fractions, then there will be the median lying between them. So this will be the fraction lying between them. So it is the first fraction that is inserted between AB and A dash B dash. We continue to further rows of the table. It will first appear in this row. So this fraction will come in the B plus B dash row because this is the fraction n. So it will be come in the Fn B plus B dash row. Now if we take another fraction, we have to show that it is a unique fraction. Let us take another fraction x by y lie between them. Okay, if we take this difference of two fractions, inserting x upon y minus and plus times, now solve this bracket and solve this bracket. On simplifying this bracket, as a dash b dash is greater than xy, so this difference is, so this cross multiplication is always positive, so this difference is positive. Similarly, so this is positive. Similarly, you can show that this is also positive. So we have achieved this result. And also solving this, we get this thing. Okay. Now upper part is equal to 1. So using this as equal to 1, we get this one. Cancelling out this, we get y is greater than equal to b plus b dash. Okay. If y, either they have two cases, if y is greater than or either y is equal to. If y is greater than b plus b dash, then x plus y does not have a least denominator lying between them. Okay. We know that always it is should be less than. Okay. xy, since y is, if y is greater than b plus c dash, then xy does not have a least denominator lying between them, so it will not follow. Then it must be that y should be equal to b plus b dash. Inequality 1 must become equality. Inequality 1 must become equality if we have a dash y minus b dash x is equal to 1 and bx minus ay is equal to 1. From here, this is inequality if this is equal to 1 and this is equal to 1. So we get two equations in xy. Now we will solve these two equations in xy using the cross multiplication method, and solving these equations by comparing the first two terms with the third one, we get xy is equal to this. So it is the only unique fraction lying between them and with the smallest denominator. Okay, as here we have shown that y cannot be greater than b plus b dash. So it is the smallest denominator. Next question, theorem 7th. If x is less than y and GCD of xy is 1, then fraction xy, we have to show that this fraction xy appears in the yth row and the later on the rows. Okay, so we will prove this result using the mathematical induction of the y. Let us y is equal to 1. So 0 x lie between 0 and 1. It means x will be either 0 or 1. So it will be only two fractions, 0 by 1, 1 by 1. So these fractions lie in the first f1 row and always contained in the other rows after that. So result is proved for y is equal to 1. Let us say that result is true up to y minus 1. Okay. Now x over y does not belong to fy minus 1 as y. Now we have to prove the result yth fraction x over y. X over y will be x over y must be belong to fyth Fourier sequence. Now x over y does not belong to fy minus 1. Let us take a two consecutive term a upon b and a dash b belonging to y minus sequence. Now we can insert a fraction x over y between them. Okay, if we take x over y fraction lie between them, then we know that there also be median lie between them, consecutive terms of fy minus 1. Therefore, since these are the consecutive terms, so this does not belong to fy minus 1. It means b plus b dash is greater than y minus 1 using step 2, because it does not belong to y, y minus 1 term, so its denominator, sum of denominator is greater than y minus 1, so is it equal to y. So b plus b dash is equal to greater than equal to y. But by the above theorem, by the previous theorem, y is always greater than equal to b plus b dash, because b plus b dash is the least denominator. So we get y is equal to b plus b dash by uniqueness of the previous theorem. So if y is equal to b plus b dash, then x must be equal to a plus a dash. So any fraction x over y is equal to a plus dash plus b dash enter in the yth row. Then it will come in other also row. So we have proved here this result here. Similarly, this is also very important result. The number of terms in the Fourier sequence of order n is equal to 1 plus phi function I1 to n, and sum of all these terms is equal to half of this number. Very important result. From this result, we can count the number of terms in the Fourier sequence. If n is equal to 2, then this is f1, this is f2. How many terms in f2? 3 terms. And what is the sum of these terms? This is 3 by 2. Now we will calculate 1 plus I is equal 1 to 2 phi I. This will be 1 phi 1 phi 2. Phi 1 is 1, Phi 2 is also 1. So it is 3. So this is equal to number of terms proved. And if we take half of this term, this is 3 by 2. That is sum of terms is half of this part. So result is 2 for n is equal to 2. Let us say result is 2 for n is equal to m minus 1. That is number of terms in f minus 1 sequence is this one. And their sum is 1 by. Now similarly, sum of the terms for f minus 1 sequence will be this half of that. Now we have to prove result for n is equal to m. Fm contains all the terms of f minus 1 and some more terms. And we know that fractions always lie between 0 and 1. If denominator is greater than m, then it is not a member of Fm. So if it is a member of f minus 1, then its denominator is less than or equal to m minus 1. Now each reduced fraction a over m lying between 0 and m, if it is a member of Fm, then a should be less than m and GCD of a or m is equal to 1. Then the number of these fractions are phi m. So total number of members in Fm is equal to number of members in previous sequence plus phi m. So we know that number of members in the phi m minus 1 using the inductions up to this will be plus phi m. So this will be added into this. So we have the proved result for m. Similarly, sum of all these members is equal to sum of the members in the previous sequence plus a upon m like fractions in which GCD is 1. And we know that the sum of all positive integers less than m and co-prime to m is equal to this. This is the result of Euler phi function. So this part will be m upon phi m by 2. So we will use this result here, value of this. So total number, since we have taken 1 by m common, so sigma a, all the sum of all numbers which are less than m. So cancelling with the m and m, we get phi m by 2. We put this value here, okay, and combining this result with this, we get the result for n is equal to m. So it is a very important article. Similarly, if we have two fractions of order n, then no other fraction lie between them, then a difference of this is less than equal to this and difference of this is less than equal to this. We have to prove this result. Since these are the two consecutive fractions, a upon b, then either a upon b will less than cd or either c upon d less than ab. From here we can say that this is equal to 1. From here we can say this is equal to 1. So if we take minus common, we get AT minus BC is equal to minus 1. From here AD minus BC is equal to 1. Combining both equations, we get AT minus BC is equal to plus minus 1. We can write mod is equal to 1. Now we will start with the first mod difference, simplifying. Okay, so AB is cancelled with this. AD minus BC mod is 1, so we get this one. Since these are the consecutive terms in the Faraday sequence, then the sum of denominator the two consecutive fractions is greater than and we have to prove this result. The sum of two consecutive denominator sum of two consecutive fraction is always greater than n. So b plus n is equal to greater than equal to n plus 1. So 1 over b plus d is less than equal to n plus 1. So if we multiply both sides with the b, so this is less than equal to b plus n. So applying this here, so we will get this. Similarly, you can prove the other one. Taking the difference, we get mod, this is 1. B plus d is greater than equal to n plus 1. So 1 over b plus d less than equal to n plus 1. So multiplying with the d, we get this, and from using 3 and 4, we get this result. So students, in this video lecture, we have learned about the Faraday sequence and then the important results. Thank you very much. Please like, subscribe my channel, Dr. Gaurav Verma. Thank you very much.